This fortress-like Tudor Revival-style heritage building is called Minto Armories. Located at 969 St. Matthews Avenue in Winnipeg, it is named after the Earl of Minto, Governor-General of Canada from 1898 to 1904. The building was completed in 1915 as the First World War was unfolding in Europe. Originally designed to accommodate 4 militia infantry battalions with 8 companies per battalion, this 155,000 square foot building has an interior parade square of 238 by 126 feet. Currently, the Armories houses several Army Reserve and Cadet units as well as a battle school. Militia service battalions were formed in or around 1965, but acknowledge the origin history of their predecessor founding units such as the Ordnance Corps and Service Corps, which date to the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The current version of 38th Service Battalion is an amalgam of 3 combat service support companies located in Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, and Thunder Bay, Ontario. The CSS Museum formally opened in 2003. It was founded by Honorary Colonel Ken Langridge, the first commanding officer of the Winnipeg Militia Service Battalion in 1965. Located in rooms 121 and 122 on the main floor, it is one of 3 museums in Minto Armories. Much smaller in 2003, the CSS Museum facilities now feature 4 subrooms of artifact displays, plus an office, a workshop, and a storage area. The museum's mandate is to represent all ranks contributions of the service battalion and its predecessor unit soldiers to the historical evolution of the unit since its inception. Currently, there are over 320 artifacts exhibited that portray the unit's history. The first room of the museum is organized in chronological order, starting with a pre-war and First World War display. The display cabinet layout flows in a counterclockwise direction. Each cabinet exhibits both war and peacetime generic and personal artifacts, starting with the First World War, Second World War, Korea, Peacekeeping, and Afghanistan. Although Canada's Far East involvement with the Japanese during the Second World War was minimal, the Winnipeg Grenadiers were stationed in Hong Kong on 8 December 1941 when the Japanese attacked. Approximately 290 Canadians were killed in the ensuing battle, and 264 more died as prisoners of war. The CSS Museum keeps this memory alive because of its affinity with the Winnipeg Grenadiers Cadet Corps, which is all that survives that unit. Most displays in this room are the core of what service battalions and logistics are all about. The supply or ordnance component compiles commodity requests from user units such as infantry, armor, and artillery. The commodities are loaded onto transport vehicles. The vehicles then deliver the commodities to the user units. If there are problems with non-functioning vehicles or weapons, the maintenance group sends a mobile repair team. It may be recovered and brought to a workshop that has the tools to make it serviceable again. Many artifacts and tools in the display cabinets reflect a time when horses and wagons were the main mode of transportation. Mechanization and some modern tools were introduced during the First World War. One logistics component, often overlooked but never undervalued by the soldiers, is food services. Current daily rations are known as MREs, for Meals Ready to Eat. Generally, they are high-calorie, prepackaged meals. If there is a supporting military-based kitchen, soldiers might receive a meal of, for example, mashed potatoes, peas and carrots, and beef slices in a container called a hay box. However, the optimum is to have a field kitchen deployed. The positive effect fresh food has on soldier morale cannot be overstated. This simulated command post is known as the Logistics Operations Center, or LOGOPS. It controls and is the nerve center for service battalion operations. It operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Generally, a user unit processes its replenishment requests through the LOGOPS Center. In field environments, The user unit and log ops identify a map grid reference as a meeting place. This is called a delivery point. Under the cover of darkness, commodities are exchanged quickly, and the site is guarded. Back in log ops, the soldiers on duty track the DP and note progress on the map and task boards. Log ops also tracks any repair and recovery requests. Numerous photos along the walls display some of the transportation modes and vehicles used by the Canadian military over time, starting with horses and wagons. This last subroom contains artifacts from subunits once under command of or part of the service battalion. However, they have since relocated to other levels of command, become independent companies, or merged with the logistics branch. The intelligence group was under command of the service battalion for about 15 years for administrative purposes. From the early 1950s until the late 1960s, No. 5 Intelligence Training Company focused on 4 areas of training: battle or combat intelligence, counterintelligence, air photo interpretation, and languages, especially the Russian language. The display cabinet contains several unique and older military intelligence-related artifacts. From 1965 to 1971, the medical company was a component of the service battalion. In 1971, it became an independent company. During the Second World War, the Medical Corps and Service Corps formed a unique integrated hybrid military company in Winnipeg called No. 1 Motor Ambulance Convoy. Over 7,300 nurses served with the Royal Canadian Army Medical Corps in the First World War, the Second World War, Korea, and Afghanistan. The Canadian Provo Corps, now known as Military Police, formed part of the service battalion when the latter was founded. The Military Police initially formed in 1917, but disbanded in 1920. The Provo Corps formed again in 1940. And has continued to exist as an integral part of the Canadian Armed Forces ever since. Many military police accoutrements, badges, and other insignia were donated by former serving MPs. The Canadian Women's Army Corps was integral to the Canadian Army in the Second World War. Over 21,000 females served in various roles, which allowed more male soldiers to fill combat-related roles. The administration branch was integrated with the logistics branch in the 1990s. Many female soldiers today choose roles other than administration, such as mobile support equipment operator, vehicle technician, weapons technician, and cook. The CSS Museum continues to grow as additional artifacts are acquired and displayed. The museum maintains historical and contemporary exhibits as its volunteers continue to serve in the best tradition of the Canadian Forces Logistics Branch motto, Servitium Nullis Secundus, service second to none. We hope you have enjoyed this brief video introduction to the CSS Museum. Please visit us in person or online.